Have you ever had one of those days where you feel a little foggy, a bit more tired than usual, maybe even a little dizzy, and you just chalk it up to getting older? You tell yourself, "Oh, I'm just having a slow day." Or, "Maybe I didn't sleep well last night." But what if I told you that sometimes it's not age, it's hydration? Yes, really, something as simple as how and when you drink water can make a huge difference in how you feel. And if you're over 60, paying attention to water isn't just a good idea, it's essential. You see, as we age, our sense of thirst becomes less reliable. That means we might not feel thirsty even when our bodies need water the most. And that sneaky little fact can lead to a whole host of problems: fatigue, headaches, confusion, even falls. So today, I want to talk with you, just you and me, about 5 common mistakes people often make when it comes to water, especially later in life. They're easy to overlook, but once you know what to watch for, you'll be amazed at how quickly you can feel more energized, more clear-headed, and yes, even younger. Let's start with the first one, a mistake I used to make all the time myself: not drinking enough water in the morning. Now I get it. Mornings can be slow and cozy. You wake up, maybe shuffle to the kitchen, start your coffee or tea, and slowly ease into the day. But here's the thing, your body has just gone 7, 8, maybe even 9 hours without a single drop of fluid. That's a long time to go without hydrating. Think about it, we don't go that long without food during the day, right? Drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, before your coffee, even before breakfast, is one of the simplest ways to jumpstart your system. It helps wake up your metabolism, flush out toxins, and get your digestion moving in the right direction. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just plain, room temperature water. Keep a glass on your nightstand if it helps you remember. I know coffee is comforting. Believe me, I love mine too, but coffee is a diuretic. That means it pulls water out of your system, which can leave you more dehydrated if you don't balance it out. So if you're like me and that warm mug is non-negotiable in the morning, just make sure you get a glass of water in first. It's such a small change, but it makes a world of difference. You might even notice your joints feeling a little less stiff or your head a bit clearer by mid-morning. Now, let's talk about the second mistake, which is a bit sneakier: drinking too little water because you're afraid of frequent bathroom trips. I hear this one a lot, and honestly, it's a valid concern. Nobody wants to feel like they're constantly running. When your body doesn't get enough water, it starts to hold on to what little it does have. That leads to water retention, swelling, and even more pressure on your bladder. So ironically, not drinking water can sometimes make the problem worse. Plus, dehydration affects how well your kidneys work, and they're already working hard as we get older. A better strategy? Spread your water intake throughout the day. Think of it like a gentle stream rather than a flood. Sipping consistently, a little every hour or so, gives your body the hydration it needs without overwhelming your system all at once. You don't have to gulp down a whole bottle at once. In fact, sipping slowly is better for absorption and gives your body time to use the water more effectively. Another helpful tip is to cut off your water intake about 2 hours before bed. That way, you're still staying hydrated during the day but giving your body enough time to process it before you lie down. And if waking up at night is still a problem, speak with your doctor. Sometimes it's not just water causing those bathroom trips. That brings me to a third mistake, and this one is surprisingly common: relying on thirst as your signal to drink. You know that old advice. Just drink when you're thirsty. Well, that works, if your thirst mechanism is working properly. But for many of us over 60, it's not. We might go hours without feeling thirsty, even when our bodies are actually running low on fluids. This can be especially dangerous during warmer months, or even when you're inside with the heat running. You might not feel sweaty or hot, but you're still losing water through your skin and breath. Add medications into the mix, many of which cause dry mouth or affect fluid balance, and you've got a perfect recipe for dehydration without even realizing it. So instead of waiting to feel thirsty, try building hydration into your daily routine. Just like you have meals at certain times, consider water as a part of your schedule. Maybe a glass after brushing your teeth, another while you're watching your favorite afternoon show, and one with every meal. It doesn't need to feel like a chore. You're not aiming for gallons, just steady, consistent sips throughout the day. Some people find it helpful to use a water bottle with measurements on the side, something to keep track without obsessing. Others like to infuse their water with a slice of lemon or cucumber to make it a little more enjoyable. The important thing is not to wait for your body to ring the alarm bell. By then, you're already behind. Now that we've looked at those first few habits, skipping water in the morning, avoiding it to dodge bathroom trips, and waiting to feel thirsty, let's keep going. There are a couple more mistakes that might surprise you, and they're just as easy to fix once you know what to look for. And speaking of things that can surprise you, let's talk about something that might seem healthy at first glance: getting most of your fluids from sources other than plain water. Now, I know how tempting it is to reach for a glass of juice, maybe a cup of tea, or even a sports drink if you're feeling a little low on energy. And yes, those drinks do contain water. But here's the catch: they often come with extras your body doesn't need, especially as we get older. Let's take fruit juice, for example. It might seem like a good option, it's from fruit, right? But even the ones labeled as 100% juice are packed with natural sugars. That sugar can spike your blood sugar levels and then drop them just as fast, leaving you feeling tired or irritable. And if you're managing diabetes or even just borderline blood sugar, that can be especially tricky. Same goes for sweet teas or flavored waters that sneak in added sugars or artificial ingredients. Sports drinks? They're usually made for athletes doing intense workouts, not for a gentle walk around the neighborhood. They often have a hefty dose of sodium and sugar that the average person doesn't really need, and if your doctor has mentioned keeping an eye on your blood pressure, that sodium can be a concern. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you have to give up every flavored beverage you enjoy. Life's meant to be enjoyed, after all. But it's worth paying attention to what's in your glass, and making plain water your go-to, your foundation. Everything else? That's just the bonus round. If water feels too plain for your taste, you can jazz it up in simple, healthy ways. Try a splash of lemon or lime, or a few slices of cucumber. Mint leaves, berries, even a bit of grated ginger, these add a fresh taste without the sugar overload. I've even known folks who make herbal teas and drink them cold over ice. Chamomile, peppermint, rooibos. No caffeine, no sugar, just soothing and hydrating. And here's something else that gets overlooked: not adjusting your water intake for your medications and lifestyle. This one's a biggie. As we age, many of us are taking medications that directly impact hydration, whether we realize it or not. Diuretics, for example, are very common for people managing high blood pressure or heart conditions. They're often called water pills, and they do exactly that. They help your body get rid of extra fluid. But that also means they can increase your risk of dehydration if you're not careful. Other medications, like those for allergies, pain, or even depression, can cause dry mouth, which is another sneaky sign that your body's running low on fluids. If you're noticing you need to sip water more often just to keep your mouth from feeling dry or sticky, that's your body talking to you. And then there's lifestyle. If you're someone who enjoys gardening, taking long walks, or even just spending time outdoors in warmer weather, you're likely losing more water through sweat than you think, even if you don't feel sweaty. Add a hat and some sunscreen, and you might not even notice the heat, but your body is still working hard to stay cool. That's why it's so important to make your water intake personal. There's no one-size-fits-all rule. Some people need a little more, some a little less, but the key is tuning into what your body, your medications, and your daily habits are telling you. If you're unsure, a simple conversation with your doctor or pharmacist can help you figure out what's right for you. It's also a good idea to check your urine color. I know, not the most glamorous topic, but hear me out. It's one of the easiest ways to see how hydrated you are. Light pale yellow? You're probably in good shape. Darker amber tones? That could be a sign your body needs more water. Think of it as your built-in hydration check. One more thing I want to mention here, and it might surprise you, is that dehydration doesn't always show up as thirst or fatigue. Sometimes, especially in older adults, it shows up as confusion, mood changes, or even balance issues. You might feel a little off, not quite yourself. Maybe you're forgetting things more than usual, or you're feeling a bit unsteady when you stand up too quickly. It's easy to chalk that up to aging, but in many cases, it's a lack of hydration. I remember talking to a woman in her 70s, bright, active, always on the go, who suddenly started feeling foggy and tired in the afternoons. She assumed it was her sleep or maybe her medications, but once she started sipping water consistently throughout the day, those symptoms disappeared. It really was that simple. She just hadn't been drinking enough because she didn't feel thirsty. And by the time she noticed, her body was already playing catch-up. That's why small habits matter. A water bottle within reach, a reminder on your phone or a sticky note on the fridge, a glass with every meal. These tiny adjustments can have a big impact on your clarity, your energy, even your mood. You've made it this far in life by listening to your body and learning what works for you. This is just another piece of that puzzle, and it's a powerful one. We don't always need dramatic changes to feel better. Sometimes, it's the smallest things, like a glass of water, that quietly support us every single day. Let's keep going, because there's one more mistake that ties everything together, and it's something many people never even consider. Now, this last one might just be the most surprising of them all. Only drinking water when you're inside or sitting still. You might be thinking, well, of course I drink more when I'm active. But here's the thing, a lot of folks actually forget to hydrate during physical activity, especially when it's something familiar like gardening, walking, or even running errands. It's easy to underestimate how much water we lose just by moving around, especially as we get older. Maybe you're out for your daily walk, tending to your flowers, or doing light housework. You might not be sweating like you did in your 20s, but that doesn't mean your body isn't using water. In fact, older adults are more prone to losing water through respiration and skin without obvious signs like heavy sweating. And if you're someone who enjoys being out and about, even something as simple as going to the grocery store or seeing friends, chances are you're losing fluids without even realizing it. But because your body doesn't send those strong thirst signals anymore, you don't always think to replace what you've lost. That's why dehydration can sneak up on you during these moments, the ones that feel routine and harmless. I've talked with many people who tell me they only think about drinking water once they're back home, sitting down, maybe even after they've started feeling tired or headachy. By that time, your body has already taken a hit. Hydrating after the fact is helpful, of course, but it's even better to stay ahead of the curve. One thing that works really well is to treat water like part of the activity itself. Keep a small water bottle with you when you go for a walk. Set it on the porch while you garden. Put it in your purse or car when you're heading to the store. Make it easy and convenient so it becomes second nature. You wouldn't go out without your keys or your glasses, right? Add water to that checklist. It deserves a spot. And remember, it doesn't have to be a large bottle or a huge effort. Even a few ounces here and there can keep your body steady and prevent that dip in energy, or that fuzzy-headed feeling so many people just accept as normal aging. The truth is, it's not always age, it's often just dehydration, quietly doing its work in the background. Now, if you've ever had a day where you feel off but can't quite put your finger on why, maybe you're cranky, can't focus, or your joints feel stiffer than usual, try reaching for water first. Before a snack, before a nap, just see what happens after a glass of water. It's one of the simplest, most affordable health tools we have, and it's right there in your kitchen. And just to recap, not in a list, but gently, as a reminder, the most common mistakes aren't about drinking the wrong thing or following complicated rules. They're about overlooking the little moments when water could make a difference, skipping it in the morning, avoiding it out of bathroom concerns, waiting to feel thirsty, relying too much on sugary drinks, or forgetting to hydrate while active. These are easy patterns to fall into, but they're just as easy to shift